Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Talk Tuesday on Love. And literally, and Lori will be here in a few minutes, but literally, we wanted to love on you guys because not everybody feels loved. And today is such a big to-do and a ta-da on social media and in the world and on commercials, that there are a lot of people that get felt left out. And even if you're in a relationship, if it's not smooth, you tend to feel left out also because you feel like you're missing something. And so you're not missing anything. Welcome, Lori. Hello. You're not missing anything. You have it all. And so that's one reason why we want to hear from you a little bit today and also talk about the beautiful things of you and that you desire in your life on a regular basis. So does anyone have anything on their heart or mind right now that they would just like to say and get a little bit of loving?
Mm-hmm. And we'll ask again, and maybe it'll come up through our conversation. Well, you'll recognize something about yourself or a pattern or something that triggers you or that you feel in your heart, and we can ask again. But
yeah, and as I mentioned, of course, I'm trying to get the right name of the talk. Okay, so it's time to get loved on, discovering the patterns that have been blocking you, and they are different patterns that we've talked about. We also want to talk about, which are part of the patterns, about, you can't see it in my notes here. I was on, as Lori, I was telling them that I was in a big, deep healing session right before this. So everything.
Oh, wow.
On that. It was really beautiful, though. I knew I could bring that energy here.
Yeah, exactly.
So we were asking you, if you're a people pleaser, a controller, an achiever or an overachiever, and an overthinker. These are things that can disrupt the harmony within our own being. So we'll start off this as I'm Mia Sines, and this is Lori Montree, and we're from The Greatest You, and you've also seen us in the Self-Love Revolution classroom. So these are our digs, our things. So Lori, in love, what are the spaces that people, and we've mentioned some of them, but let's talk about how they hold us back and how we can move forward and past it.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. So happy Valentine's Day, beautiful people. Oh, yes, a self-recognized overthinker here in the audience. There's probably more than one of us, and certainly those watching the replay too. I'm sure a lot of us can identify with that. So this topic, and the reason why we really wanted to bring it today is one, we're in the season of love, and as we approach springtime, it's just a very natural, human, right, way to be and to be thinking about our hearts and love. And certainly today being Valentine's Day, and Mia and I will talk to you a little bit about some amazing love themed things that we have coming up. But what we wanted to really bring today is that sense of understanding about how lovable each one of you really are. We have just so much love for the people in our community because we know that we're resonating together, and we've got some kind of special energy going with you because we were brought together in this space today to share time, and for those of you on the replay as well. So we wanted to number one, say we love you guys. We really recognize the greatness and the beauty in all of you. And, sometimes we forget that. Right. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, instead of calling them blocks, we could say, these are the things that cause me to forget how amazing and lovable and worthy I am, just because my heart is beating, just because I'm a beautiful human that has a soul that, was put here in this space today. That's why I'm lovable. That's why I'm worthy and valid, and my life has meaning. And that is really the truth that we want to ground you in today. You are so loved and so lovable. And it's interesting. But you may say to us, but gosh, it's a lot of times I don't feel that way, right? I don't recognize that. I feel kind of, maybe down on myself or caught up in, whatever it is that takes me out of that. So that's why we wanted to talk about some of those patterns today, so that you can recognize them and then, see them as lies, see them as coping mechanisms, essentially. There's a good reason for them. It's not that we're crazy for having them. They actually make sense. But at the same time, they do take us away from that real fundamental truth, which is you are so magnificent, so worthy, and so lovable, just because you're alive, just because your heart is beating.
Lori,
Yeah.
so what keeps popping up is I want you guys to just get still for a moment. And I want you to feel into your body with each breath, literally, just because we're going to ground into something I think that might speak to all of us. So as you ground in, just become more relaxed. Breathe in love again into your body. Push it down through your diaphragm, your lower belly, and watch this beautiful golden wave remove everything unloving on the exhale. Okay. When you were little, let's go back to when you were little. Some people are frightened of when they were little, and some people are not. So when you were little, what was one of your biggest desires? Was it love? Was it to be loved? Was it to have fun? Was it to play? Was it to be with your friends? Was it to be snuggling with your parents or wishing you could snuggle with them? Did you dream of marriage one day? Love, love, love filters through our entire life. And as we go forward with it, certain things that we couldn't handle started to close us down. So let's open our hearts to this beautiful space of love where we were when we were young, when we wanted, and nobody told us at that point that we couldn't have it. I want you to feel into that depth and that space. I want you to feel as if I feel electricity going through my body right now. That's beautiful. And so I'm seeing certain things here. There's someone out there who's feeling these hearts just spinning around them or floating. I also see a silver and pink energy swirl going around one of you. It's really beautiful. What does love feel like? And if you don't know, I see a closed door too. If you don't know, it's okay. Just ask yourself to open that heart space. Just breathe it in again. Put the rest of the world out. It doesn't exist in this moment. We're in the present space of love. All kinds of beautiful love. That's why I think now I see those hearts again, and I'm seeing stars with them because floating around, because the energy of love looks different in each aspect, and yet it's the same. So fill yourself up with that and know that you are an incredible loved being. Just as Lori had stated, being human, being here on earth with the soul is a profound experience of love. And you are special. No matter what you've heard last night or 50 years ago, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you desire and what you recall. Let's bring that, what we've been doing is bringing that recall of love back and allowing that to be and fill you. You can even imagine breathing in and out your favorite perfume and having that be love, filtering through your body. Right, beautiful beings. I'm gonna call you back on 1, or actually 3. I want you to feel this all day long, the space of love. And on 2, know that it's divinely who you are and that you feel love today and always. And on 1, when you open your eyes, just rub your shoulders just a little bit in your arms. Embrace yourself and come back to us. Beautiful. In this beautiful, loving space, we don't feel the discontent. We don't feel the controller. We don't feel the achiever. We don't feel the stories that have been told to us or that we put in ourselves. What we feel is a space of grace, of love. So now I'd like to ask you, and this is a personal, individual thing, how many of you want to hold that space within yourself? Always on a recall, bring it up. This is your divine right to have and to be in this space of love. Lori, should we guide them through a little bit of the controller, the achiever, and ways? See the academy, you guys, we put this together because I was a love coach. Lori was also a transformational coach on emotional eating, on emotions, on experiences with people, just like I was, but I always went by love coach. She went by emotional eating coach. And when we came together, we brought the top of the top, and this is what we want to share with you, just the information of who you naturally are and how to get to the other side. And that's the beauty of the ability to change. It's already been presented to you and for you. I wrote yesterday on Facebook, if any of you saw it, it did get likes and stuff, but love is conscious and fear is unconscious. So if you think about that, love is an action state of being, and fear is something that is subconscious that we haven't worked through, that circulates around us. We think that we have to have a sense of fear, and it doesn't belong to you at all. It doesn't belong to me. It originally started when we came here as cavemen, and we're not going outside of our cave right now and getting run over by a woolly mammoth or a saber-toothed tiger. We are safe. We have the ability to change our nervous system, to change our mental abilities by doing work to calm ourselves, to remove our old stories, to remove the controller, to remove the overachiever, the overthinker. When Lori said, yeah, I'm an overthinker, I had to giggle inside because my entire life, because of the pain that I grew up in and lived with, sorry, again, I just click on the mute here on someone. The pain that I grew up with, I overthought things. I overthought things over and over and over. And as I started to change my life, what was I doing? I was still regurgitating up the old and spitting it out on my friends and family, until I got to a point where I was like, I'm tired of this regurgitation. It's got to go. And the work that you do to shift your awareness brings you love. Why? Because you, and when we talk about a controller here, we're not talking about controlling others. We're talking about our emotional state of being. We have the ability to control, shift, and move, to heal those old thoughts and those old patterns and recreate new. That's the magnificence of the human body that Lori was talking about, right? We have a brain, we have a body that functions. And when we know how to stay calm and to shift that, we can stay in the space of love.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I just hate to, now go into this place of talking about the blocks and in the ways we forget that we're lovable. I'd much rather for us just to stay in this, lovely little place. But I think maybe if we can, we'll end making sure that we come back to this feeling, ground back into that remembrance of how lovable and how worthy you are, simply because you are alive, and be able to take that into our day and into, hopefully our week and into our month, and keep coming back to that as often as you can. But I do want to switch gears a little bit, because I know that it's hard to stay in that place where you remember that you're lovable, right? That you're lovable for no other reason than the fact that you are breathing and your heart is beating. So what I'd love to do is ask you right now, and maybe we can use the chat and just say, if I asked you to finish the sentence, I'm lovable because, what would you say? Not the stuff that's, that we just talked about and we like, yes, oh, that feels so good. I recognize I'm just lovable because God made me, because I'm here, because that's beautiful. But what are some of those other thoughts that sneak in, probably quite often, that say I'm lovable because, some examples would be because I do things for people, right? Because I'm successful, whatever that means, whether that means I make a lot of money, or I help people in my profession, or I have these accolades, or maybe I'm lovable because of the way I look. Maybe I'm lovable because I not only take care of people, but I put their needs in front of mine. The list is
I went ouch with that one. Because that
yeah.
was one that I've always done. That's one that humanity does, isn't it? We
Yeah.
take care of others to the point that we don't take care of ourselves, and then that's what this whole journey becomes. We're to take care of others and not ourselves. Someone in the chat, it's me, wrote, I love others. That's why I love, or I'm remarkable at love.
That's why, yeah.
Right? You said you guys don't have to do what you've heard from other coaches, what you've heard online. It's about connecting to that love within you so that you can shift and transform without feeling like you're cracking up, right?
Yeah. So if we kind of look at some of these, and we'll just take a couple, and if anything comes to you as we're talking about it, and you want to just mention, yes, that resonates with me, or here's my experience, here's why I've or what I've been telling myself, if I don't do this, people are not going to love me, right? So with respect to people pleasing, right, and this can start very, very early on. We get frowns when we do something wrong, as when we're just little, crawling around, we get into something and we get frowns, and it can start right in that moment. It's like, oh, wow, my behavior caused someone else to have this negative reaction. Ooh, I don't like that. I want love. So I'm going to try to mold my behavior to get the smiles, right? When I just sit here and look cute and whatever, then I get a positive response. They come and, pat my head or kiss me or whatever. Okay, got it. And then it builds from there. That's just like the very, very, very beginning of it. And then as we get older, we see, I get accolades for being pleasing in this way. When I'm disobedient, I'm made to feel like love. Not only am I punished, but I feel like love is taken away. I feel like I'm no longer worthy of love when I don't perform in a certain way, right? And so then, and especially as women, not that men are not subject to this as well, but we think, oh, when I cook for people, clean for people, listen to their problems and give them my time and energy and everything, that's why they love me. And if I didn't do those things, they wouldn't love me anymore, right? That feels very real for a lot of people. And there's some level of evidence, right? Because they act differently towards you, or it's been just your experience, right? And so what Mia was saying earlier was, there's nothing wrong with us being caring people. Most of us, I would say, probably all of us to some degree or another, really actually enjoy taking care of people in some way. So the problem or the challenge comes when we are only paying attention or mostly paying attention to what the other's needs are, and either denying our own needs or not even allowing us to understand what our needs are, because we're just not in tune with that anymore. We've put so much focus and so much effort onto seeing what other people need, who we need to be for them in order to be lovable, that we've kind of abandoned ourselves, rejected ourselves almost. And even though we may be getting some love, some approval from the other person, the fact that we've rejected ourselves and forgot about ourselves, or not in tune with what we really need, and loving what is loving to ourselves, we can never feel loved. And that's the thing. It's like we're always reaching. So often we're reaching for things outside of us to tell us that we're lovable, right? But those things are going to be nice, but they're never going to be enough. If you don't have the love for self and the regard for self and the awareness of what your needs are and meeting them yourself, you're never going to feel truly loved. So yeah, and just kind of take a second to let that really sink in, and that abandonment, rejection of self, where not only am I not paying attention and meeting your needs first, I'm not even sure what those needs are, because I've been so focused outward for so long, because I thought if I didn't do that, that I wouldn't be loved. And here's the thing, it's amazing because and when people go through this change, and they recognize that, and then they start to turn inward, and they start to recognize what their needs are, and they start to meet them, then they show up. Not only are they showing up for themselves, and they feel that sense of security and safety in the world and in themselves, then they're a whole nother person for the people around them. And it goes so far beyond, serving them. It's, wow, now we can be someone who has a true connection with them. We can be with them on a much deeper level. And maybe we're not, doing every single thing in the same way, but the way we show up is more powerful for them as well. They would much rather have this version of us who is connected and really in tune with them, than the one that's like, okay, yeah, what do you need? Okay, I'm, or getting resentful, right? When you're feeling resentful for somebody, you may still be going through the motions and doing the things for them, but the energy is much different. And so really, we're serving everyone when we come back to self first. And remember, I am lovable because I'm alive. I'm lovable because who I was created to be, not because I'm a people pleaser, not because I do all of these things for other people. So that is a story and a pattern that could have started in one of, a billion different ways. And then it's carried through and then reinforced, right? Especially as women, right? That has traditionally been, our role. We exist to take care of others. And in some way, yeah, we have beautiful, nurturing, loving hearts, right? But those hearts, people have access to that when we first remember that we're lovable because of who we are, because of the fact that we are this divine being. So if that is something that you've ever struggled with, I'm lovable because of this, and I'm afraid if I wasn't performing in this way, that people would take their love away. This is really for you. This is something for you to consider and to think about, and just know that it's a pattern. It's not true. It's something that made sense to a young brain, right? And then was carried forward, but it is also something that you can actually change. This is a topic that we cover this in a little bit broader about, building that relationship with yourself and remembering that who you are and why you're lovable and all of that. Something that we cover certainly in the Greatest You Academy, which is the 12-module course that is always open for enrollment, and goes through a lot of the blocks that keep people from living and realizing their greatest self. It's also something that we touch on in our short course, Ready for Love, which is ready for divine love connection, actually, because it's really opening you to the desires within us to have beautiful connection, intimate meaningful, fulfilling connection with other people. So I just mentioned that because if it is something that you're noticing for yourself, there's ways that we can further that work and help you explore that and support you and guide you through that kind of process. Mia, so that's like a big pattern that we
Mhm.
take on and that we don't feel lovable. And then the other one would be, that achiever pattern. Like I said, what we achieve makes us lovable,
Yeah.
whether that's what we do or what we have, right? How we look.
So
Easy.
that, right. So the achiever just really, that takes over. That becomes
Yeah.
the only thing. But remember, that's ego, right? Because we've
Yeah.
gone down to the basics. The controller part is having to control because you're not feeling that you're in control. And so that's why we end up controlling situations. That's a lack of love. The overthinker, we've experienced, everybody experienced all of these.
Yeah.
Might be one or two that, that is more your thing. And so the overthinker stops you from being in the state of peace, stops you from being in the state of love because you're thinking energetically outward. Now, on the more spiritual side, I want to say this from conversations with God, that's very important. That I was a huge learning thing. And in Love Mastery, I've taught this for 15 years. And so when you read this book, and we go over it in the course, the thing that I want you to be aware of is, who are you listening to? What are you listening to? There's so much going on in your brain. This is also about getting into mindfulness, right? Which is the work that we teach. And also then you take the spiritual side and you choose what you want to think about. That's why overthinkers think too much and you can't get out of that.
Yeah. And I'll just mention, it's safety, right? That's why we do it. Love and safety, love and safety, love and safety, love and safety. As humans, that's what we're programmed to need and seek out above all else. So overthinking says, if I worry about it and figure it out, right? Then I'm in control, right? So we bring some of the controller in there as well. Then I'm going to be okay. If I don't worry about it, if I don't think about it, if I don't, go down every possible route that life could take me today or in this month or whatever, then it might catch me by surprise. I won't know what to do. I need to really understand what's going on, think about it, and that's how I'll feel safe.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about something that might blow your mind and bring you back to love. But before that, because we might just end on that, so you have a really good note, Lori and I wanted to also share that we have the celebration event coming up this Saturday. It's for everyone's birthday. And so we're giving away prizes and things like that. So it's on my Facebook page. It's in our emails. It's in the Greatest You and the Self-Love Revolution Facebook groups.
We'll put it in the replay too. We're going to send this recording
Yes.
out on the replay. We'll put the sign up in there.
Yes. And then, and also tomorrow you have another email on the celebration coming out as well. So we'll do it in here and tomorrow so that you have it. This is
Get signed up.
You guys, to sign up. The Zoom link is sent to you, a little information about what you might want to bring for yourself. You don't have to bring anything, but it's like, bring a drink and maybe a cupcake if you want, that kind of fun stuff so that you feel honored. Then we also have a show coming up in March, on March 6th. The greatest force on earth is love. And we have about 20 speakers talking about modalities and love and why it's so important. We also have Ready for Love starting. We have a webinar. We have a masterclass that we're giving away, right? For people.
Yeah, we're going to take you through it. So yeah, for anybody who's ready for that, who feels the call towards, I know that I was made for divine, beautiful, intimate, connected, fulfilling love in my life. And there's so many people who are ready for that. And so this is a 4-week course that goes through the different ways to get yourself ready for that, to really be able to embrace it and to find it.
Mhm.
create it in your life.
Yeah, really powerful. We're bringing a lot of love-centered work in to the Academy as well. We're also bringing in a heart activation thing that I've been talking to Lori about. I want to teach it. And so we're going to be bringing that. So everything is about you connecting to love. So we deal with the emotional state of being, the spiritual state of being, the love state of being. It's pretty cool. That's why it's the greatest you. Okay, so let me share with you why I think that what I'm going to share with you is important. Every time I get up on stage and speak, not on these things, but up on stage with an audience, the things that I say are, you are deeply loved, you're not alone, and you're a miracle. And most people fall apart because they have not thought that anybody would speak to them like that. So how does that make you feel to know that you are deeply loved? You absolutely are not alone. You have a higher sense within you. You have humans. You have the same story you share with others. And that you're a miracle. Getting back to the human body and a soul on earth, moving around on 2 feet instead of 4. And yet we're still a very powerful, the most powerful and intellectual creature on earth. We are stronger and more powerful than most people ever even think. So now that I've said that to you, do you have anything to say back? I don't want you to say it back to me. I just mean, share with us what your thoughts are. How did that affect you? How did that leave you?
And every response is correct, right? It can make people feel just connected to that beautiful truth and part of something so much bigger. It can release all of the the expectations for you to be a certain way or do something in order to be okay. And it can also make people feel uncomfortable. It can be, that is so different from what I've thought, from what that does not feel safe. I need to have my protections. I need to look a certain way. I need to do certain things. I need to achieve certain things for me to be lovable. No, I don't, it doesn't feel right for me to just embrace that I'm loved and magnificent and all of that. So, and anywhere in between, there is no wrong answer.
That's right.
Yeah. Is there anybody who really felt that land and say, oh, amen. That's exactly, yes, that is my truth. Thank you for reminding me. That's how it landed for me. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. Brought me back to that truth in a powerful way. Anybody else have that kind of reaction? Or maybe the one that said, ooh, that feels like a lot. I'm not sure.
It can, right? Because most people, until they get into their healing journey, have not been told, or by a stranger have been told, you are deeply loved. You're not alone, and you're a miracle. And so when somebody says that to you, an unexpected love hug or whatever, it throws people.
Yeah, it can. For
Whatever
sure.
the response is, it's beautiful.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And just know if that, if that is your response, if it does kind of bring up some level of discomfort, that it doesn't always have to be that way.
That's
You
right.
can hear that someday. You can look at yourself in the eyes in the mirror and say that to yourself and mean it with such sincerity that you can't imagine ever feeling otherwise. So just know that is with the right work. That's something that is available to each and every one of us in that feeling to carry it forward. But there will be times, no doubt, over the next week or so where you aren't feeling so magnificent, so loved, and not alone, right? So my invitation to you, and this is high level, this is really actually very, very productive work, should you take this assignment, right? But having a few sheets of paper that you dedicate to this assignment, and go through your week, because we'll be back together again next Tuesday, because this is what we do every Tuesday, spend time with you. And you can certainly bring your experience to our next meeting, regardless of what the next meeting is about, because we always want to be supporting the work that you're doing. It's beautiful that you showed up here, and the work that you do in between is super powerful, and we want to honor that and support it. So always feel free to bring up something from a past teaching or something that you're working on. So the idea is to write this up at the top. You are loved, you are magnificent, you are never alone. And then as you go through your day, really start to notice when that's hard to believe for you, when you're not accepting of that statement, and then ask yourself, what am I thinking? Right? Could be you look in the mirror and you say, oh my God, bags under my eyes, that I'm not lovable, right? And you may not say that consciously, I'm not lovable, but clearly you're not feeling magnificent and loved and all of that. If you're looking in the mirror and say, oh wow, look at those bags under my eyes, or oh, I didn't get the dishes are in the sink, what a mess. I didn't do a super great job on that work thing. Nobody called me today. I didn't, fill in the blank. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of examples. So it'll be interesting for you to gain some awareness around what are the thoughts that are taking me away from this feeling, which I would say that's our natural feeling, right? That's our natural state of being, to remember that we're loved and magnificent and we're not alone. That's where we belong. So the challenge, or the invitation, is to notice those thoughts and your own patterns that hide that from you, right? That take you out of that space.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you,
Yeah.
Lori.
Yeah.
All right,
So how do
everybody.
we get back into that beautiful space? Anything that can just really tie us into that as we end our call today and go out into the world and remembering?
Well, if I would say the quickest way to get grounded, right? It's a grounding. So the quickest way to get grounded, and you can do this anywhere. You don't have to undo your shoes and run, take off your shoes and run on the sand. You can do this at any moment. And it's one of the part of the systems that we teach in the academy, but just a simple breathing, right? So follow your intention or your breath inward deeply. And push it down and watch it go down through your diaphragm. And that's why I take it down into the lower belly, and that golden wave removes anything unloving from your body. You can breathe in the word love, or you could breathe in hearts, whatever it is, but breathe it in and be grounded. The breath work is so vitally important for the nervous system too. And so follow your breath in and out. Follow your breath in and out. Breath in and out. And there are other super powerful things if you're highly activated. Those we teach in module 2.
Yeah. And maybe even we could add to that, right? We could do the containment exercise, which is really the self-hug, right? And that has a lot of variations to it, but basically it is finding that beautiful spot that just feels good to wrap yourself up. And there's a lot, people are going to resonate with it differently. Some people feel constrained and that doesn't feel good. So just putting one arm or even, your hand on your heart. It could be right over left over right. It could be up high around your shoulders. It could be down low around your midsection, and just play with different ways of this containment exercise and see what feels right. That place where you get to and you're like, oh, I don't want to move from here. This just feels
that
right.
warm blanket around you when you're cold, and you feel when you wrap it around and you feel so loved and held. This would be the same feeling. When I put my hand on my over my heart here, as Lori was talking, I started to feel a warmth go around my body. It reminded me of what a blanket feels like. So it's
Yeah.
a same beautiful warmth.
Yeah. So just taking a moment, we don't recognize how that beautiful need that we have for touch and how much it resonates with our body, but self-touch, right? Doing the containment exercise, hand on heart, whatever it is also very calming and nurturing to the nervous system. We think it has to come from outside of us, and that's lovely too. But knowing that we have the ability to bring that joy and sense of nurturing to ourselves.
We opened this today up with a song called Flowers by Miley Cyrus. And she says, I can hold my own hand. I can write my name in the sand. And then she also talks about, I can bring myself flowers. So this is what it hit me when you were just saying, Lori,
Yeah.
how profound that the world is starting to learn that we can nurture ourselves. And that's the most important thing.
Yes. Not only can, but must.
Yes, must.
If we are going to be, right,
Yes.
firmly rooted, which is
Yes.
what we teach in the academy and what our last challenge last month was all about. If we're going to be firmly rooted and feel safe and secure in the world, that nurturing has to come from us. Doesn't mean we don't need other people, doesn't mean we don't love and intimately connect and all the things, but that foundation is us with us. So just, as you're going through your week, thinking about that, trying some of these things on, actually making a space. This is just a space where I'm going to remember that I'm loved and magnificent and never alone. And I'm going to bring in, actually a blanket, right? Actually this work, and just spending 2 minutes to connect into that beautiful energy of love and see how that transforms things for you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right, then I guess we're ready to close out. Thank you all for
You guys, nice to be here
Yes.
with you. We love you all.
and remember the celebration party, which is on Saturday, a free party celebrating you and your birthday, entertainment. It's going to be fun and some
It
gifts.
is going to be fun. Why would you want to come to that? It's just a space for you to honor you to honor. And we're going to use our birthdays to do it. But Mia's got some readings. It's just going to be a really fun time. So
It'll be
I
awesome.
look forward to, just being in a light, fun space with you all.
All right, I'm going to turn off the recording. We'll see you all soon.